Explanation not accepted by neighbors and his children. Though she didn't die from a gunshot, examinations showed she was strangled and suffocated to death. Neighbors attest their over 27 years together has been full of domestic violence and abuses. The remains of Claire Ngono have been deposited at the Yaoundé Reference Hospital, while husband to the deceased is at the gendarmerie for questioning. As Muslim faithfuls gathered yesterday to celebrate the feast of Ramadan, our reporter Darling Gonde took interest in why women could not be spotted in some mosques. She visited the mosque during prayer hours yesterday to join our Muslim brothers and sisters as they end their fast. She inquired or sought for answers and compiled the following.
While visiting several mosques yesterday to join Muslim faithfuls in celebrating the feast of the Ramadan, it was also observed that women could hardly be seen in these holy grounds. Upon being more inquisitive behind cameras, it was revealed that mosques are for all, but both the women and men pray in separate places. In some cases, the women pray behind the men's line, and in other mosques, there is usually a separate hall reserved for the women. However, it is the feast of the Ramadan. But what is it all about?
Ramadan is the month of fasting, putting all what is negative concerning Islam aside, giving the adoration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People are somehow scattered during the other months, but the month of Ramadan bring all Muslims together.
Although women were rarely spotted in the mosques, one area they could easily be seen was in the markets. From the young to the old, none was left with the final purchase team. On this day, some families also preferred praying and worshipping at home with the belief that it also allows for them to focus with God. As the Muslims prayed, worshipped and married, the main prayer for Cameroon has been the return of peace and social stability.
The prayer we give to our country today, we know that Allah will exhaust the prayer, and all what is negative in Cameroon should be vanished, because we have been facing a lot of unfair actions, especially in the northwest and southwest region, far north and the east region. Even Adamawa is also facing difficulties. So we have prayed globally to all those negatives should stop.
With the evolving times, it was also revealed that women in some mosques can now perform prayers following the imam's instructions. Although this judgment
Muslim faithful in Boya yesterday joined their counterparts across the globe to observe the feast of Ramadan, marking the end to their 30 days fasting and prayers to Allah. Dressed in their unique fabrics, these faithfuls converged on the Boya Town Football Stadium, where they drew inspiration from the Holy Quran, as the Imam of the Boya Central Mosque, Muhammadu Abubakar, preached on 3 principles: unity, forgiveness, and reconciliation.
What they have done is not correct. They become remorseful, and when they extend a hand of pardon to you, whom the person he has hurt, you should be ready also to accept. And you have 3 days maximum to be to have differences within your brothers. After 3 days, if you die without reconciling with your brother, you die the death of a disbeliever. God will not grant you paradise, because He doesn't want people who cannot forgive.
These key tenets, according to the Imam of the Boya Central Mosque, should be a tool imbibed by all Cameroonians at large, irrespective of religion affiliation, given the prevailing Anglophone crisis rocking the northwest and southwest regions for 4 years now, and the need to resolve the crisis.
I will also call on the state to do everything possible to see that there is peace in Cameroon. Let there be genuine and meaningful dialogue that can make people to understand exactly what these people are talking about. The state has understood, and something is being done. Something is being done, and that's something which is being done. It cannot be done the way at the pace of people.
To the youths who have picked up arms against the state, the Imam further advises:
if you are afraid that you will be caught by the people you have hurt, you can meet the religious authorities, you can meet traditional rulers who are sincere, and they will move you out of that town. they get to settle in some form or the other.
Meanwhile, as the Muslim faithful look forward to continue with Hajj after this Ramadan celebration, the Imam of the Boya Central Mosque reminded them to uphold the doctrines of unity, forgiveness, and reconciliation, for these attributes pleases Allah. In Bertois, the mosque witnessed impressive turnout as Muslims gathered to end their fast. Present at the Bertois Central Mosque was Governor of the East Region, Grégoire Mvongo. Details with Jean Didier in the French language.
L'esplanade de la mosquée centrale de Bertois a été prise d'assaut par des milliers de fidèles musulmans à l'occasion de la célébration de l'Aïd el-Fitr, encore appelée fête du Ramadan. Compte tenu du contexte sanitaire de l'heure, des équipes mixtes de police et gendarmerie ont été placés pour filtrer les lieux de prière. Ici, les fidèles sont passés au peigne fin. Il faut monter carte blanche pour accéder au lieu de prière. L'arrivée du grand imam de la mosquée centrale, l'imam Mohamedou Oumarou, marque le début de la prière dès 9 h du matin. En présence du gouverneur de l'Est Grégoire Mvongo et sa suite, des prières ont été adressées à Allah, le Tout-Puissant, qui a permis aux nombreux fidèles d'arriver au bout de 30 jours de privation et de pénitence.
La fête du Ramadan est la concrétisation de 30 jours de jeûne. À ce jour, il y a l'aumône par la zakat pour soutenir les nécessiteux. Et nous vous disons merci pour tout l'accompagnement que l'autorité administrative qui nous ont accompagnés jusqu'à la fin de cette fête. Et je saisis aussi de cette occasion pour adresser aussi Eid Mubarak à la communauté chrétienne qui fête aujourd'hui la fête de l'Ascension, la cohabitation sociale entre nous demeure et reste unie.
Des prières pour la paix au Cameroun et dans le monde entier, qui subit en ce moment la crise du coronavirus, afin de retrouver toute sa quiétude. Les réjouissances ont été aussi observées dans les domiciles, après la grande prière où des copieux repas sont proposés à des fidèles, afin de retrouver leurs forces après 30 jours de privation. Notons que toutes ces manifestations étaient placées sous le signe de la veille sécuritaire, avec des forces de maintien de l'ordre parées à toute éventualité, ainsi que le respect des mesures barrières ont été observés par endroits.
Nurses in Cameroon have been urged to be proactive while being representatives of love and care as they face various challenges and health crises. This call was made by the Cameroon Association of State Registered Nurses and Midwives during a training session in Yaoundé. Details in the following report.
Nurses in Cameroon face difficulties but keep going because of the call to serve and their love for humanity. The International Day of Nurses was celebrated this year under the theme, A Voice to Lead, a Vision for Future Health Care.
And we feel that nurses have challenges when it comes to leadership. So definitely that is why the theme this particular year centers on leading, because the nurse is a torchbearer, is a torchlight for other members of the healthcare team.
And we thought it wise that for nurses to lead, for nurses to have their voices lead, then we should be able to start training them as leaders. And that's why we had this 2-day seminar, which we are crowning today with the Nurses' Day celebration.
The Cameroon Association of Registered Nurses and Midwives used the occasion of the International Day of Nursing to encourage those who are distinguishing themselves during training. They were cautioned about the need to shun all vices that rob their image in the mud, especially the illegal sale of drugs to patients.
Those are like, just to name a few, that's just one of the malpractices. But because of this seminar, we have learned that we are supposed to follow our ethics. We are supposed to be guided by our professional ethics.
The COVID-19 pandemic is a stark reminder of the vital role nurses play. Without nurses and other health workers, we will not win the battle against outbreaks. Nurses and midwives are there during the first and the last breath. Their walk in the street is a reminder of the respect they deserve.
Variants of SARS-CoV-2 responsible for COVID-19 has been reported in many countries around the world. According to the Center for Disease Control, these variants might escalate or de-escalate by a neutralization of antibodies generated against a previous infection or vaccination, reducing efficacy of treatment. Bokengo Kemia-Worthy tells us more in the following report.
A variant is a new form or version of an existing substance, species, element, as well as virus, whose properties may differ from the founding body in diverse ways, bearing the potential to change expected results. This same thing applies to the new SARS-CoV-2 virus variant making wave in India.
We were seeing variants. We've seen different viruses, variations. That's what a variant actually means. These viruses, these variants are not fundamentally different to the previously circulating strains. They have differences, and those differences may affect the way in which the virus binds to human cells, or it may affect the way in which the virus can reproduce itself successfully in the human body.
As the global COVID-19 pandemic continues, viral variants have become the latest concern around the world, as each variant is made up of a collection of mutations, are complicated, and have the potential to change the SARS-CoV-2 virus in unexpected ways, such as evading natural vaccine immunity.
Almost all of these vaccines are highly protective against severe disease, which leads very often to hospitalization and then unfortunately to death. So while they may not completely prevent infection, the immunity that the body develops in response to vaccination is good enough to protect people from getting sick even if they get the infection. If a person receives a full course of vaccination, then there's enough protective immunity in the body to protect against severe disease even from these variants.
Worthy of note is the fact that these variants spread faster. However, it should be borne in mind that
what it hasn't changed is the way in which the virus transmits. So therefore, all of the measures we already have in place, like hand hygiene and physical distance, and reducing the number of people you're in contact with, and reducing proximity to people, reducing the time you spend with people, wearing masks, ensuring you're in a properly ventilated space, these are the things that will still work.
Estimated to have rocked the world in numbers by 161 million cases and 3.34 million deaths, scientists, health researchers, and personnel are on the clock in labs looking for ways to combat these variants by stepping up vaccine properties vis-a-vis the virus, its variants, and mutation. Worldwide, respecting measures put in place by government of countries is vital now more than ever.
We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. Thanks for being a part. See you on Monday at 6:30 for another edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. LASHA Kinsey coordinated the news, produced by EWANE Olinga. My name is Blanche Peldrine Blanche. Stay tuned at 7 p.m. We'll have a Prime Hour with Kum Leonard. Enjoy today's edition of our programs on My Major Prime. Happy viewing, happy weekend. Good night.
Welcome to a new